Hi, everyone. So you may have heard in our latest update to Vivaldi, we launched a new collaboration with DuckDuckGo. So we thought we'd sit down with their founder and CEO, Gabriel Weinberg, to find out a bit more about his thoughts around privacy, the browser, what people can do to protect their privacy, and this new collaboration we've got. So with that, welcome, Gabriel. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So to start off, can you tell us why you think it's important to protect your privacy these days?
So many reasons, though. I can give you a few, though. First of all, online, there's people trying to manipulate you into buying things and taking your information and selling it. And there's just no reason why that needs to occur. And so by protecting your privacy online, you can both kind of protect yourself from these attempts of being manipulated, but then also literally stop other people from profiting off of your information. Then a second reason, which I find particularly compelling, which we can get into search, is that, online, there's all these algorithms that control what you see. So search results, videos you watch next, etc. And if you don't protect your privacy, then you're feeding this data to these algorithms, which can become biased. And then they'll show you things that they think you're more likely to click on, but they often get this wrong. And they also put you in kind of a bubble at that point by showing you kind of more things that you agree with and less opposing viewpoints. I could go on and on, but for those are good reasons to start with the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Getting siloed, that's a really interesting conversation in itself. So why do you think it's important to choose the right search engine specifically? I guess there's some overlap with what you just mentioned there.
Yeah, so with regards to that algorithmic bias, the search context is really kind of the most pernicious because you're going to your search engine and you're looking for answers that you think are objective. You're trying to get the results. But in reality, if you choose a kind of tracking search engine that's biasing the results towards your search history, you're not getting results that are objective. You're getting ones that are tailored to you in a way that kind of like reinforces your political beliefs and puts you in that bubble. So that's one big reason. The second reason is you share your most intimate secrets with your search engine, really without thinking, financial, medical, personal problems, and you want to keep those private. But when you're searching with a non-tracking search engine like Google, they're recording every search you make for all time. And unfortunately, that stuff could leak out. So Google, for example, has over 100,000 user data requests every year where anyone really with a valid court order, criminal or civil, can request that search history. And when most people, they're not thinking about that. When they think about it for a minute, they're like, I don't really want that private information being stored forever.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So that brings us to DuckDuckGo, your outfit. Can you tell us a little bit about the mission of DuckDuckGo and what you guys are all about?
Yeah, so we're a search engine, obviously, so we're talking about search engines that doesn't track you, and we've been doing that for about 10 years. But we have a broader vision of raising the standard of trust online. And so we're doing that a number of ways. One is just education. We're out there trying to help people protect their privacy all over the internet, not just search. But two, we recently launched browser extensions and apps that help protect you beyond the search engine. So when you go around the web, there's all these hidden trackers that are kind of out there collecting your personal information. And our new kind of apps and extensions block those trackers.
So obviously, I guess you're a little familiar with Vivaldi and the browser?
Yes, I am.
What do you think about the match of DuckDuckGo and Vivaldi? And how do you see these two things playing together?
I think it's a great match. I mean, Vivaldi puts privacy first in its users as a primary feature. And so any company organization that does that is a shared vision with DuckDuckGo. And then in particular, Vivaldi, I think is, I don't know how you characterize it, but I characterize it as a lot of ability to customize and kind of use, really make the most out of your browser experience. And I think that is a good fit for DuckDuckGo because we also have a lot of customization. You can change all sorts of settings and kind of fit the experience to what your needs are.
Yeah, definitely. Putting the user in control of how the software works for them. Something we've got in common for sure. And specifically in the browser sort of arena, when someone's browsing, what do you think the benefit of using a private window is?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm one of those people that I think you might want to use a private window all the time. So, like when you're online, you're leaking all this information to these third parties, and also saving it to your computer. And so, I think generally you want to minimize information. Now, the only really downside to using private window all the time is like repeated logins and things like that. But you can get around that with a nice extension of some kind that can remember your password. So you'll find me navigating to private window most of the time.
I'm sure it's getting more and more common, I think, to take that route.
Yeah, especially on mobile. Yeah.
And speaking of which, I was just reading the DuckDuckGo survey on privacy that you guys did last year as well. Really interesting to see the trends on how people are taking action to protect their privacy, and that becoming more and more common. So obviously people are really interested in this side of things. How would you say people should first start to reclaim their privacy?
Yeah, you're totally right. It's a total mainstream interest and need at this point. And luckily there's like more and more tools to do so. So what's great about, say, private windows are easy to use. The downside is people don't necessarily understand fully what's going on with some of these things. And so part of the first piece of advice we usually give is a little education is useful. And, you're putting out stuff, we're putting out stuff on spreadprivacy.com. Just kind of the basics of what's going on the internet could always help. But then secondly, to reclaim privacy online, I think you want to move away from Google and Facebook, mainly because they're tracking you the most, way more than all other companies. And then secondly, you want to use tools that really put you in control over your data. And so Vivaldi is a good example, DuckDuckGo is a good example. And then getting down to maybe gritty retails, you want to switch away to private alternatives for all those Google and Facebook services. And then on those alternatives, you want to use kind of the private options, whether it be private window or install the DuckDuckGo app and extension, which blocks all those hidden trackers.
I was going to ask specifically about Google and Facebook. Yeah.
Good segue then. Yeah,
You've been pretty vocal about that. So can you tell us a little bit about why you think people should drop these services? Yeah,
one case cuts across both, which is that, when you surf around the web, there are these hidden trackers, basically soaking up your browsing history and anything you kind of type in. Well, people generally realize that and want to install like a tracker blocker like DuckDuckGo. What they don't realize though, is that mostly it's Google and Facebook doing hidden tracking. And so Google's now on 76% of websites lurking behind the scenes, kind of tracking you, and Facebook's on 25%. And it falls off a lot from there. And the reason is because they run the two biggest advertising networks in the world. And they're enabling all this kind of hyper targeting that you're seeing with the ads following you around the internet and whatnot. And so they are kind of in a category onto their own about kind of the tracking. And then in addition, you got to think of their own sites. So then people are using Google search, which has all the problems we talked about before of like biasing you, as same with YouTube. And then Facebook has a similar kind of algorithmic newsfeed bias. And then also has been shown just not to be very healthy to use all the time. And so for all those reasons, I suggest people get off of Google and Facebook. And it's possible. Like I think some people are like, it's not possible, but I can tell you that it's possible.
Yeah, I take it you're a proponent of that. Living Google free, Facebook free. Great.
Yes, exactly. You're talking to somebody who is Google and Facebook free.
Still on the browser side, do you have any thoughts about the role of browser choice in relation to privacy? Both as it is now, but in the future as well, like trends in browsers and privacy, that side of things?
Absolutely. I mean, the bad trend has been Chrome taking over and becoming a majority of browser share, and it's largely because Google's been using their monopoly power to push Chrome installs everywhere you turn. Every time you go on Google, you'll get a Chrome install. And that's not a good trend for the industry. I mean, it's another vertically integration of kind of Google, and Chrome tracks you more than other browsers. And so kind of in the whole realm of getting off of Google, you want to switch off of Chrome to another browser. And then in addition, browsing is like a central component of your internet experience. And just like search is, you want something that is going to put you more in control of just the experience and your data. So I think it's a central component.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think of some of the trends that are coming out, like the features that people are integrating into their browsers to give more control around the privacy side of things?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, we've been pushing, and the integration that we're launching today with Vivaldi is right in that direction. I mean, people are really clamoring for more control over their data, and so giving them kind of more private features to let them do that is really answering what people want, which is the right thing to do.
Great. Well, I think that's a good note to finish up on. So thanks again for taking the time, Gabriel, to have a chat about this new release, and really looking forward to seeing it in action.
Me too. It's very exciting.
All right. Bye for now, Gabriel.
Sure.
Thanks.